Thank you, Knicks. Thank you for not making me officially push the panic button, not ruining my MLK day. I said it last week. I can't watch Trae Young come out here and dance on the garden floor on MLK Day after what we saw when we got eliminated from the midseason tournament. But the Knicks, they came out, they got the job done. They win 119 to 110. The Knicks now have improved their overall record to 28 and 16. Hawks fall to 22 and 20. And the Knicks get a dub, man. Knicks get a dub. Knicks have scuffled a little bit these last couple weeks, and it was very important that they came out today and took care of business. And they did not take care of business from the jump. Trae Young came out. He was getting whatever he wanted. He hit his first 4 threes, I believe. But in that first quarter, the Knicks look up and they found themselves down 18 to 8. And you're like, oh man, here we go again. Guys are shooting wide open threes. Very first play of the game, there's a weak double team and then a late rotation, which leads to an and one easy bucket right down the middle for this guy, Jalen Johnson, who has turned himself into quite a player. He really has polished his game and he looks a lot better. He's not hitting threes with regularity just yet, but the league's going to be something to deal with when he is. And he's something to deal with now. He's a very good defender as well. Letting him get all the way to the rim for an and one to start the game when it's really just a case of the Knicks not being disciplined, not understanding the rotations and understanding where they're supposed to be on the floor. And when that happens, one play in, it's a little frustrating. Shout out to everybody checking us out. We are on YouTube, Twitter, and for the first time, Twitch. Try to get Instagram live going today. Did something a little bit in. We're figuring it out. It's a work in progress, people. Appreciate the love. My guy Keith Watkins, as always. Greetings from the ATL. He is a Knicks, Mets, and Jets fan, even though he does live in Atlanta. And I'm sure he knows people who are Hawks fans. So this will give him the ability to talk a little shit tomorrow at the water cooler, maybe. Man, the Knicks, this game, similar to what we've seen throughout this season, we see ebbs and flows with the defense. As I said before, we were down 18 to 8, and Tibbs calls a timeout. And then after that, defense picks up. We close out the first quarter well. We start off the second quarter well. And then at the end of that second quarter, we kind of let go of the rope a bit. And all of a sudden, you see them back down by 8. So it was definitely a up and down first half. I thought the Knicks, from the very start of the third quarter, and then throughout the rest of the game, kept that defensive level and that activity intensity up a little bit. And then we were able to put a stranglehold on this game. We were able to really start turning them over. The Hawks overall, how many turnovers did they have? I know it was 23 at one point. I'm not sure if they picked up another one. Give me 1 second. Hawks turnovers. 23 turnovers. The Knicks were very active today on defense. And as I heard Karl Anthony Towns say, when you're not taking the ball out of the basket and you're getting out and you're making plays and you're getting to the rim in transition, or you're kicking out to wide open threes, it's a lot easier to play offense like that. Got to get stops. And the Knicks today did a better job of that, especially at the end of the first, into the second, and then in the second half. But those little times where we let up, like we did at the end of the second quarter against better teams, that could be the difference between winning and losing a game. So Knicks still have to search for that ability to bring it on a nightly basis on the defensive end. Hopefully it's getting better. My guy Keith down at ATL says, bro, you don't know the half. My son and wife been talking cash-ish this season. I had season tickets till this year and had been used to clowning. So your son and wife, how you let your wife sway your son over to the Hawks instead of the Knicks? Well, depending on his age, when we lost to them, I think it was in 21 in the playoffs. If you're a young, impressionable mind and the Knicks drop the ball and lose that series when it's Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, and Bullock was like our second best offensive threat on that team. But we lose that series, and if your son was young and impressionable at that time, and now maybe he leans towards the Hawks. Trae Young, especially if you're a young kid, he's a very easy person to like. He's a very easy person to hate if you're a New York Knicks fan. And the Garden crowd was on him from the very beginning. They didn't stay consistent with the booing every time he touched the ball, which honestly might be a good idea. I love the enthusiasm, but do we really need to rile this guy up anymore? And if you look at Trae Young early on in this game, he was getting wherever he wanted. Like I said, knocked down his first 4 attempts from behind the arc. He is distributing, getting guys the ball. Atlanta Hawks went with Agungwu today, starting instead of Clint Capella. I guess they feel like he's a better matchup from Towns, or is this just a thing that's been happening throughout the season where he was playing himself into a starter's role? Clint Capella, I think maybe the Hawks are looking to see what they are without Clint Capella being in the starting lineup and seeing if there's somebody that if he's somebody that can move, because it seems like every trade deadline, he's a name that you hear talked about. I don't know. Clint Capella could be on the move. Honestly, if the Knicks are looking for center depth, I would love him. I love his game. I love that he's not asking for a ton of shots. He finishes on the inside. He's relentless on the rebounds. He can protect the rim a little bit. We've dealt with our share of Clint Capella over the last few years. And if we're looking for center depth, I would like a guy like a Clint Capella, even over a guy like Valanciunas, who they always talk about. Valanciunas, what people don't realize about him, he's not protecting the rim at all. Whoever the Knicks add, I don't care if it's a guard. If it's a guard, okay, then maybe I can take a guy who's a little bit more offensive minded. But even then, I think this team needs to add guys who can defend. We don't need more buckets. We need to challenge and prevent more buckets. And the Knicks did a better job of that today. There's a lot of plays today where the rotation was a step quicker. It was sooner. It was better understanding of I'm 2 passes away, but I got to be ready. I saw that out of Josh Hart some. I saw that out of OG some. I saw that out of Cat some. I even saw Brunson do some defensive rotations. And that step quicker, especially when you're the smaller defender, and especially if you're helping the helper. So therefore, if a big man comes and helps, and now you're helping against that big man, you have to be there early. And the Knicks did a better job of that today. It's a combination of of attention to detail and just want to. And when the Knicks give you that on the defensive end, they're a scary team that can play with anybody in this league because the offense is going to be there. I thought Bridges did a great job on Trae Young. Bridges and Trae Young, and then also Brunson and this guy Dyson Daniels chirping at each other the entire game. And I love it. I love that shit. This guy Dyson Daniels, he's supposed to be one of the best young wing defenders in the league. Some people are talking about him being in the conversation for defensive player of the year. I think they need to take it easy on that one. But he's a good defender. Brunson cooked his ass. Brunson got him. Brunson did his thing tonight. I thought that he hit so many huge shots, especially in that third quarter. A lot of deep jump shots, deep twos, which you don't see a lot of from him or from anybody else in today's NBA. But Brunson ends up being 12 of 18, crazy efficient, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. 34 points for the captain. So he cooks Daniels. Daniels is, having a hard time with him. They're going back and forth. They're jawing at each other. Daniels ends up fouling out in the fourth quarter, and Brunson's looking over at the Knicks bench talking about 6. Get him out of here. It was another horrible night for the officials. NBA officials, seriously, what is going on? I'm biased. But Karl Anthony Towns, the way that he's officiated, it is so frustrating to watch because he gets absolutely no calls. And if he breathes, if somebody just runs right into him and they bump and they touch each other, it's just an immediate whistle. It's never going the other way. They never, ever see it with any type of just objectivity. It seems like they got something against this guy almost. I mean, Jesus. I felt this way about Brunson last year. I'll admit, Brunson has gotten a slightly fairer whistle this year. Karl Anthony Towns, the whistle on him, there should be like some sort of investigation. What is going on here? He's getting fouled right across the arm. No call. And then he walks away and puts his hand up like this, and he gets a technical. The gesture is typically going to get you a T. Karl, you got to be a little bit smarter. Bridges came over to him and said exactly that right after it happened. But I get it, man. I get why he's frustrated. Because he gets fouled all the time and never gets a call. And if he even breathes on somebody, all 3 of the refs are blowing their whistle. Okay, this makes a little bit more sense, Keith. His wife's from Decatur, Georgia. Entire family is Hawks fans. Got outnumbered. I know, man, but come on, man. We still got time. I want to know, how old is your son? Do we have time to convert him? We gotta get him over to our side. You can't have a good fan like yourself. You deserve to have a son to be able to enjoy this with, as I can with my dad, as I do with my children who are Knicks, Mets, Jets all the way. There's no dissension in this household. And it's a joy. The other podcast that we have on this channel, the weekly podcast, He Did This to Me. It's me and my father talking Knicks, Mets, Jets, and whatever the biggest sports stories are of the day. It is called He Did This to Me because he made me a Knicks, Mets, and Jets fan. It's not an easy life, but it's the life that we have chosen. And I've now done this to them, meaning my children. I don't understand what's going on with this whole cat thing. Like he said, man, he got calls in when he was in Minnesota. So what is it? You put on the orange and blue? I know we got beef with the NBA. The NBA does not like the Knicks. They don't like the Dolan's always complaining about the TV split and the revenue. They want to give us a tampering charge for Brunson, and then they want to look into the promotion of Rick Brunson, which is ludicrous. The guy is a longtime assistant. Somebody left a spot, being Johnny Bryant, going to Cleveland as assistant head coach. Brunson was next in line. Brunson moves into that spot. He's getting paid the same thing that he was. There's nothing there, but they just trying to, I don't know, man. It's hard. Damn. Oh, your son's 30. Yeah. Spends thousands. My man Keith said he spent thousands on Knicks gear for him, and he's a Hawk for life. He's on the hype video for the team. Oh, bro. That's a tough one, man. I mean, listen, you get season tickets and you take your kid to a lot of games that aren't Knicks games, and you're playing with fire there. You're playing with fire. I've been to a couple Suns games out here with my kid just because of the opportunity that didn't involve the Knicks. My dad said when I was a little kid, before I really had a fandom, I was your typical cool little kid who was like, oh, Michael Jordan's so great. My dad took a big risk. He took me to Knicks Bulls at the Garden. He said that he prayed. I don't think my dad's a big prayer, but he prayed that the Knicks would win that game. And the Knicks did win. And the rest is history. Glow in the dark. Hawks chain. He's got a glow in the dark Hawks chain, Keith. Damn, bro. Yeah, that's a tough one. But hey, man, it is what it is. He's your boy. You love him anyway. But I guess you guys won't be seeing eye to eye when the Knicks meet the Hawks. And right now, the Knicks are the 3rd seed. 3rd seed and the Hawks are the 6th seed. So therefore, they would meet in the first round. I would like to avoid the Hawks. The Hawks are a tough team, man. If their threes are going, and they did outshoot the Knicks from 3 today, percentage wise. They were 43%. The Knicks were only 34%. So that just goes to show that the Knicks can win a game when they aren't hitting their threes at an efficient clip. Knicks were 9 of 26 from behind the arc today, 34%. But the big number for the Knicks this season is in the graphic that you see below, that the Knicks had 31 assists. The Knicks now improved to 16-1 when they have over 30 assists in a game this season. And last season, they had only 11 such games in the entirety of the season. Knicks continue to move the ball, especially with Cat on the floor. We saw in these last 2 games, Cat's out with the thumb, and the offense does not look as good. It's not just missing the points, we're missing the spacing. So yeah, man. Knicks when they're whole, and when the Knicks play defense, they're tough. They're a tough team to beat. I loved Bridges' defense on Trae. Trae's going to get his sometimes, but overall, Bridges, I thought, did a fantastic job on Trae Young, and so did OG when he got switched on him. I thought that play in the 3rd quarter where Bridges is trying to get off a shot and Trae Young is trying to get off a shot, and your boy Bridges locks him up. He's, trying to pump fake, pivot, do whatever, and ends up basically just giving up and getting a 24-second clock violation. And the Garden, Knicks fans are the best. They're the smartest. They love that shit. They're going crazy. And I just thought that was a big moment. Cat had one of those late in the game where he got switched out on Trae, and Trae tried to draw a foul and threw up some bullshit. Ended up getting a technical right afterwards. I think that's going to be, a big key as the season goes on is Mikal Bridges being able to deal with these smaller guards in the league and really be able to bother them. Trae Young ended up with 27 points. He had 6 assists. 6 assists. He's averaging 11 assists a game this year. 9.5 assists a game for his career. That makes him 3rd overall behind Stockton and Mr. Magic Johnson. Very impressive. Whether or not you like Trae Young's game, you have to respect what he's accomplished thus far. I mean, coming out of college, he led the nation in points and assists his senior that 1 year, his not his senior year, his freshman year, his only year. Oklahoma comes into the league and has been extremely consistent. And this year, they say the defense is better. They say the effort is better, and they say he's looking more to get other people involved, and that's clear by the 11 assists, leading the NBA. Quinn Snyder, good coach, man. Questionable red frames, but he, good coach. Yeah, Keith, I agree with you, man. When Mitch comes back, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for this team. The problem is with Mitch is that can you rely on him? Now I'm hearing that he's not going to be back before the trade deadline, which means that we're not going to be able to trade him if we want it. People aren't going out and giving up anything for a guy that hasn't been on the floor since last year and is 7 feet with foot issues and has been oft injured throughout his career. Unless he were to come back and show some life, I don't see us being able to trade anything or trade him for anything of value. And so what we just have to hope with is that Mitch comes back and he's able to, give us 15 minutes a ball a night and be able to stay healthy through the playoffs. If that's the case, I really do think that the Knicks are a true contender because I think Mitch does a lot of things for us that we are currently deficient in. Everybody knows he's a great defender. Just like my man Keith said, you can run people off the line a little bit more and know that they are not going to get all the way to the rim. When Mitch is in a game, guys aren't getting layups and dunks. Happens a lot with Cat in the game. I like Cat's effort. He's not a rim protector. He tries. It's not like it's just total shitty effort. It's just bad timing, bad instincts, not great athletic ability. It's just not his thing. Appreciate about everybody showing love between the different platforms. Wherever you're at, throw in a comment, like, subscribe. Go over to YouTube and subscribe because that's where you really get all the best updates for when I am going live. You'll always know, when me and my pops are about to go on for an episode of He Did This to Me, or when I'm talking Knicks. So that's the best way. Obviously, it helps me, it helps the channel. Please give me that subscribe on YouTube. Really, really appreciate all the love. But beyond the defense for Mitch, the offensive rebounding is another thing that was a staple for this team, specifically with him and Isaiah Hartenstein, that we're missing a little bit. I saw OG today, I feel like, pay a little bit more attention to crashing the glass. OG had one of those days where, hey, 2 of 4 from the field, 8 points. But I thought OG had an impact on the game. His defense, his rotations, not necessarily things that are going to show up on the stat line, but he had 9 rebounds, 2 offensive. If OG can start getting up into that 7 to 9 range on rebounds, it really, really transforms and helps this team so much, because we're missing that. He's a slightly undersized, but if Cat's giving you 14 and he can give you another 9, Hart's giving you another 9, I like that. So OG, keep it up on the rebounding. It's not going to be Bridges. Bridges is not a rebounder. He had 1 rebound today. We don't need you to be a rebounder, Bridges. We're talking a lot of stats here. Let me go ahead and get up this box score. So, taking a look at the box score, obviously you have Brunson with 34 big points, 6 assists. Brunson, I got 6 steals there. He didn't have 6 steals. That's a typo. No way. Brunson had 1 steal. He had 6 assists. It's right next to it in the box score. My bad. I'll be better. But yeah, man, Josh Hart, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. As we can see, the entire steal column has been just copied from the assists. Hey, it's a work in progress, people. We're getting there. We're getting there. First day we do the box score, a little bit of a typo. It's all good. I just thought that the Knicks overall, man, they gave that type of effort today that makes you just want to see it more. And gotta give a shout to Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau played the bench more today. I thought that the bench at the end of that second quarter, at the end of the first quarter and then going into the second quarter, gave us great minutes. If you look at the plus minuses up and down, Deuce with a plus 15, Campaign with a plus 15. That's because we had a fantastic stretch with them on the floor. I think Tibbs was understanding we have a back-to-back tomorrow. I know that if everybody's talking about the minutes as much as they are, as much as these guys, whether it be the players, the coaches, whoever say they don't pay attention to that type of stuff, they do. They're human beings. And the minutes thing is something that I have totally dismissed prior. This year, there's been something to it. We just need to be able to figure out to do what we did today, where we can steal a few minutes here and there. Deuce plays 20 minutes. Precious plays 16, almost 17 minutes. Landry Shamet plays 10 minutes. Campaign gives you 12 minutes. And Campaign is one of those guys who, you catch lightning with a bottle in this guy every once in a while. He ends up going 3 of 6 from behind the arc, some dramatic deep threes. He gives you 10 points. He gives you a spark. He's getting all fired up. Got a technical foul for yelling after he hit a 3 that he also got fouled on, made that a 4-point play, but then gave back one back for the technical. I thought that was a weak technical. I thought the technical on Cat was weak as well, but the hand gesture is going to get it for you. But also just, make the call right in the first place, and Cat's not upset. Clearly, raked across the arm. Mike Breen continues to come for these officials. And if you've watched Mike Breen over the years, you know that he is always trying so hard to give the officials as much credit as possible. He's always trying to say what a great job they do. I haven't heard Green do a Knicks game recently where he hasn't mixed in at least a couple comments about the lack of consistency of the officials, and pointing out that quite often the Knicks do get the short end of that stick. All right, I'm gonna stop bitching about the refs, but it's pretty frustrating. Keith, what do you got, man? Cat's hand is clearly not right. He may not be able to be the scorer we are used to with that chipped bone. I'm kind of worried. Hopefully, he can find his shooting touch from deep. Hey, man, I feel the exact same way. When he hurt the thumb originally, that game, he put up 2 shots after he hurt the thumb that, missed way worse than Cat's shots ever missed typically. And then he starts off today. He misses his first 4 threes. He misses his first 4, and a couple of them just didn't look. They didn't miss like his typically miss. Off right or left. Typically, Cat, if it's going to miss, it's going to be a little bit long, maybe a little bit short. And so, yeah, I think that's a real concern, is the fact that with his thumb, which is something he's going to have to play through for the rest of the year, is that going to affect his ability to shoot the ball from deep? Now, he can affect our offense in many other ways, but it's a huge weapon. And so hopefully we need, we see our guy Cat figure out how to, play with this injury, and he can get back to shooting the ball at the clip that he was prior to the bone chip in the thumb. I don't think that we're going to have to lean on JB like last year, just because, as you said, Mikal as a second option. Okay. I'm with you on that. I just, I do think this team is just a little bit more balanced on offense, even without Cat being a 25-point a game guy, which listen, it's 1 game back. He missed a couple games. He's dealing with an injury. There's going to be adjustments. I'm not saying Cat, he's a 15-point a game guy now. No. I think Cat is still going to have some offensive explosions. The deep 3 is something that is going to be a work in progress. I think there's some adjustments that have to be made. But I do like what he does for the offense in general when he catches it and starts to distribute, 7 assists tonight. Could have easily had 9. I saw a couple shots that, he made great passes that ended up in missed shots. The 3 ball, like I said, wasn't falling. Deuce couldn't hit a shot at one point. And I thought that Deuce played well overall. But he had the foul that he had. So he felt like he got fouled. He was upset. So then the next play, when he's going down, he fouls Trae Young. They had just gotten into the penalty. We're just gifting them 2 points. It was just very stupid. It was bad form on his point. I think he gave him his 3rd foul in the second quarter. Second quarter, he gets his 3rd foul. He ends up with 4, I believe. But Deuce has just got to be a little bit smarter than that. Deuce, sometimes when he gets around the rim and he's trying to lay it up, dude, fucking dunk the ball. You're too small, man. If you try to lay it up, if you dunk the ball, you might get a foul. If you try to lay it up, these cats are going to toss your shit and, knock you down afterwards, and the ref still ain't going to call it. Transition defense. Got to get a little bit tighter. I still hate how sometimes we miss a shot, a team makes 2 passes, and there's a fucking dunk. Get back. So one time, Bridges was kind of jogging back, and then as the pass is getting thrown, he's like, "Oh shit, this is over my head. That guy's under the rim," and now he runs and he fouls him. It's just like, no. You need to be identifying that as you're running back and getting to that guy, getting a body on him, getting between him and the basket, or at least in a place that you can affect the basketball if it does get past to him. The open threes are definitely a part. My man says we give up way too many open threes. Listen, that is a problem. I thought that in this game, especially once we were down 18-8, and then especially in that 3rd quarter, we did a much better job of guarding the 3. And it's a combination of rotating, being where you're supposed to be, and doing it, as Clyde would say, with gusto. Yeah, Keith said slow rotation after just 2 passes. That 100%. The amount of times that guys are there's just a pick and roll, a swing, and there's a wide open 3 has been way too often recently. Today I saw it was slightly better. But the transition D and the 3-point defense are going to be what ends up propelling this team or holding this team back. I really do feel that way. And I just hope that Tibbs continues to expand the rotation as he did today. You get good minutes like that off the bench And now you really give the starters a chance to be fresh in the end. And this is the thing. When you look at this game, it's a closely contested game. OG Anunoby plays 40 minutes, Josh Hart 37, Cat 36 and a half, Mikal Bridges 27. Mikal Bridges is only with the 27 minutes. I mean, that's like nothing for him. And Brunson 38. Those are still big minutes. It's a close, highly contested game. I would think that we would play big minutes with our best guys. But it's different when you get to that everybody's over 40. Those are the games that you feel like they lose it at the end and they run out of gas. And you never know when that bet unit is going to come in and catch lightning in a bottle, have a nice little stretch, and they play fantastic and they got us back into the game. I like what I saw out of Precious today. Precious was playing hard, 5 rebounds, 2 of them on the offensive end. And then what can you say about Josh Hart? Josh Hart with 4 big rebounds. I'm sorry, 9 rebounds, 4 of them on the offensive glass. 14 points, 7 of 12 from the field. And Josh Hart just had he just put his imprint on this game as he always does. He's always right in the middle of everything. And his hands are fantastic. He's relentless. He never gives up. Whether he makes a mistake, he doesn't hang his head. He will make up for a late defensive rotation with just pure effort. And as we know, he's the best rebounder at his size in the NBA. Shit. Maybe since like Charles Barkley. Dude is 6'4" and just absolutely beats people to rebounds. And then he had a great play on Capella where he helped the helper. Listen, if that pass gets past the Capella in the paint and you're Josh Hart and you're on his back, it's over. So what do you got to do? You got to fight and affect the pass and get the steal. And that's exactly what he did. I know Josh Hart said that he wanted to stop yelling at the refs so much. I guess that didn't start today because he was all over him. And as he should. Tibbs even said it in the post game, and I know he's been saying that the Knicks need to chill with the coming at the refs, but he talked about some calls not going our way. He sprinkled it in, said that obviously we have to let it not affect us. But yeah, man, refs, man, they got to be better. It's like me tweeting at NBA officials it's like I do this at least once or twice a game. Keith, we have to be better with situational defense. We don't get stops when we need them consistently. We don't have to always hold teams under 100, but just be able to stop them when needed. We struggle. Nail on the head there, Keith. Because that is the issue, especially in some of these games where we get ourselves behind. We can't string enough stops together to be able to get back into the game. And we also do a horrible job of recognizing that this guy is hot. Let's, try to not let him just walk into wide open threes. Nas Reed, Isaiah Joe, who else? Beasley on Detroit. All of these guys torched us, and they're just cooking us throughout the game. And then late in the game, we're helping off of them. Just like you said, situational defense has to be better. They have to be better at recognizing what's going on and then keying on a particular guy at a certain time. And in especially crunch time moments, understanding like there's certain guys that you can't help off of. You jab at Tim Hardaway and you make him shoot the shot as opposed to fully helping off of him and having him kick it to Beasley for a wide open corner 3 to ice the game. That's a bad understanding of the time and the situation by the Knicks in that loss to Detroit. And it's something that we absolutely have to get better at. I put that on everybody involved. I put that on the players. I put that on the coaches. Everybody's got to get better at that. Got to tighten it up. Shout out to everybody's checking us out on the different platforms. We're up on YouTube. We're up on Twitch. We're also up on X. We will be up on Instagram next. There's like a couple extra steps to getting live on Instagram that I haven't figured out yet, but we got it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. This team, man, hey, like I always say, if you would have said that the Knicks were going to be 28-15. 28-16 at the beginning of the season. Everybody would have signed up for that. I know I would have. Third in the East. But we got work to do, man. This, we know that the most frustrating thing about this team is that we see what they can be. And it's not like, oh, when we shoot well, we're good. No, it's when we play defense with a certain level of an intensity, then we're good. And that seems like something that you should be able to do on a more consistent basis. We're halfway through the season. Make sure you go out and you vote for Brunson and Cat. Last day to vote. And it counts times 3. I did my voting earlier. But definitely we have a chance to do something this season. I don't want to hear this bullshit about, we can, we were built for 2-3. No. Fuck that. When you're one of the 5 best teams in the league, you gotta go. You gotta go for it. You gotta try to get it. You never know what can happen. Ball might bounce your way. The Knicks get it done, man. 119-110. Again, one more time. Got to give Josh Hart some love for his game today. I thought his activity was extremely important. Bridges, please continue to be this aggressive on offense. Bridges with 26 points in 27 minutes. Trae Young can't guard you. He was taking him straight to the rim. He was going and catching it low on him all the time. He was, forcing him to commit fouls or just basically give up or doubles come over. And Bridges was knocking down his shots. He was 12 of 17 overall. Only shot 2 threes. I love that. He was getting all the way to the rim. When he puts the ball on the floor and he gets all the way to the rim, he's so long. He's a good finisher. He's got the all the way to the rim finish. He's got the, little floater joint off the glass. And obviously he's fantastic at pulling up and hitting a jump shot, whether it's 1 foot, 2 foot, he's got the bag, man. He's just got to be more aggressive on offense. We need it, especially if Cat's going to be, dealing with this thumb. Bridges, we need some buckets from you, brother. We need some buckets from you. And that 3 that Cat hit, it was his toughest look. So maybe there's something to that where he's not thinking about it because somebody's right on him. So maybe he just needs to get a little bit more comfortable with this thumb situation, and we'll start to see him, shoot the way he has. I mean, guy was shooting 45%. He's shooting 45% from 3. So it's just like, it would just be such a shame if this injury ended up leading to him not being able to have his full powers as the best big man shooter in the game. Oh, yo, OG, when OG catches the ball underneath, his footwork is such a fucking joke. I mean, he's just so apt. Today, he, got fouled, and so therefore he didn't travel. Yesterday, early in the game, he had a play where he lost the ball, so therefore it wasn't a travel because he didn't truly have possession. Just OG, man. Can we send him to the Hakeem Olajuwon camp? Go have him spend a week with Hakeem in the offseason. And OG, can you learn how to just catch the ball, gather, and go? In the game against Minnesota, there was one point where he got past the ball, he's one underneath, and he just goes straight up, and the ball just continues to go straight up as well, out of his hands, and it's a turnover. Should have been a fucking dunk. At the beginning of the season, it was like, yo, does he have a little bit more of a back? But the thing is that today, OG wasn't even really being aggressive on the offensive end, only took 4 shots, but his defense was so good that it doesn't matter. We don't need you to score all the time, OG. It'd be nice if you can get buckets when you're in perfect and easy position to do so. Please continue to knock down threes, especially those corner threes. He's been hitting them a lot more above the break than usual. But when it really comes down to it, OG, you make your money on the defensive end. Recently, he's had some games where he hasn't held up his part on that defensive end. That's when you start looking at that contract and being like, hey, yo, what the fuck? But recently, it's been better. It's been better. Actually, I can't say recently it's been better. Today was better. It's been up and down recently, to be honest. But OG, man, I just feel like he's a wild card for this team. And when he's giving you some buckets, because he's fairly consistently a pretty good defender. A couple blips in the radar, bumps in the road. But when he's giving you a couple buckets too, I think that takes this Knicks team to another level for sure. But OG did a good job on the defensive end today. And yeah, man, I just, we're halfway through the season. Got to be happy where the Knicks are at overall. Have we seen some things that we don't like? Of course. Some things that as Knicks fans make us nervous and some things that we're not used to considering the DNA and the makeup of this team the last couple years, and especially since Tom Thibodeau has been the coach. Yes. But this team will continue to learn and find itself. Tom Thibodeau will continue to learn and find himself as a coach. And halfway through, I got to say, I feel pretty good where we're at. And I'm very optimistic for where we can go. It's your boy Nick on Knicks.